Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, Canto 1 by Lord Byron. Structure, Summary, Analysis. Hello and welcome to the discourse. Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, a Romaunt, is a long narrative poem in 4 parts written by Lord Byron. The poem was published between 1812 and 1818. Dedicated to Ianthe, it describes the travels and reflections of a young man disillusioned with a life of pleasure and revelry and looking for distraction in foreign lands. While the poem itself is rich in lyrical beauty and philosophical musings, 2 notable prefatory pieces accompany it, the preface and the dedication to Ianthe. In the original 1812 preface to Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, Lord Byron outlines his intentions for the poem and justifies his unconventional protagonist, Childe Harold. Unlike the idealized heroes of traditional romantic literature, Harold is deliberately flawed, a jaded and restless wanderer whose cynicism mirrors Byron's own disillusionment. The poet describes him as a broken mirror, reflecting fragments of his own experiences, suggesting an autobiographical undercurrent even in these early stages of the work. This choice marked a departure from the morally upright figures of earlier travel narratives, positioning Harold as one of the first Byronic heroes, charismatic yet deeply imperfect, introspective yet alienated from society. Byron also distances his work from the didactic tradition of 18th century travel poetry, which often sought to instruct or moralize. Instead, he emphasizes personal emotion and vivid observation, framing the poem as an outlet for his own sense of weariness rather than a lesson for readers. The melancholic tone, he argues, is not mere affectation but an authentic response to the turbulent post-revolutionary era, a spirit of unrest that permeates both Harold's journey and the age itself. The dedication addressed to Lady Charlotte Harley, an 11-year-old girl Byron admired, using the poetic pseudonym Ianthe, was added in the 7th edition published in 1814, and it was titled To Ianthe. It is an ode invoking his personal muse, whose beauty will inspire him to put pen to paper and recount the beauties of the lands in which Childe Harold travels. The tone of this ode is light-hearted yet tender, contrasting with the poem's darker themes. Byron praises Ianthe's innocence and beauty, wishing her a happier fate than Harold's. Byron uses Ianthe as a symbol representing unspoiled idealism, a counterpoint to Harold's world weariness. Structure of Canto 1. Canto 1 of Childe Harold's Pilgrimage consists of 93 stanzas totaling 744 lines, each following the intricate Spenserian stanza form ABABBCBCC that Byron adapted from Edmund Spenser's The Faerie Queene. This structure, with its 8 iambic pentameter lines concluding with an Alexandrine 12-syllable line, allows Byron to weave together narrative progression, vivid description, and philosophical reflection. The canto follows Harold's journey from England through Portugal and Spain, establishing both the physical pilgrimage and the psychological portrait of the world-weary protagonist that would define the Byronic hero. Summary of Canto 1. Canto 1 opens with a traditional invocation to the muse, stanza 1, establishing the poem's epic aspirations while subtly undermining them through Harold's decidedly unheroic character. Stanzas 2 to 3 introduce our protagonist as a deeply flawed figure, shameless in his revelries and burdened by unspecified evil deeds that loom over him like specters of judgment. This tension between Harold's dissolute past and his restless desire for change becomes the driving force behind his pilgrimage. Byron particularly emphasizes Harold's complex relationship with love in stanzas 4 to 6, revealing that beneath his debauched exterior lies genuine, if thwarted, passion for one unattainable woman, a detail that makes his departure both an escape and a self-imposed exile. The preparation for Harold's journey, stanzas 7 to 11, unfolds against the backdrop of his decaying ancestral home, a vast and venerable pile that mirrors both Harold's moral state and Byron's critique of aristocratic decline. As Harold moves through the mansion, gathering his belongings, brief flashes of remorse, stanza 8, give way to hardened resolution, revealing his capacity for emotional detachment. The poet underscores Harold's isolation by depicting his so-called companions as mere flatterers and parasites. Stanza 9. Establishing the theme of existential solitude that will define the Byronic hero. Harold's abrupt departure, leaving behind his heritage, his lands, stanza 11, becomes an act of radical self-liberation from the empty pleasures that have sustained him. The voyage itself, stanzas 12 to 13, serves as a powerful metaphor for Harold's psychological state. The storm-tossed ship parallels his inner turmoil, with Harold maintaining stoic silence while others weep, a telling demonstration of his emotional repression. When the seas calm, Harold's spontaneous song of farewell, extending through 10 stanzas, provides his most authentic emotional expression in the canto, revealing the depth of feeling beneath his world-weary facade. This musical interlude, interrupting the narrative flow, suggests poetry's power to convey what ordinary speech cannot. Upon reaching Portugal, stanzas 15 to 26, Byron establishes the pattern of disillusionment that will characterize Harold's travels. The country's distant beauty gives way to urban squalor upon closer inspection, with Lisbon's filth and decay serving as objective correlatives for Harold's own moral landscape. The description of Our Lady's House of Woe, stanza 20, a convent surrounded by what appear to be holy shrines but are actually criminals' graves, exemplifies Byron's technique of revealing harsh truths beneath beautiful surfaces. The political commentary intensifies in stanzas 24 to 26 with the scathing critique of the Convention of Sintra, where Byron uses Harold as a mouthpiece to condemn British diplomatic failures while maintaining plausible deniability about his own views. Stanza 27. The Spanish section, stanzas 28 to 84, shifts focus from personal reflection to historical engagement. Harold's brief pause at Mafra to consider Louisiana's luckless queen, stanza 29, demonstrates his growing capacity for empathy, while the extended treatment of Spain's resistance to Napoleon, stanzas 31 to 44, reveals Byron's own political passions. The celebration of Spanish women warriors, stanzas 45 to 59, particularly stands out, showcasing Byron's progressive views on gender amidst otherwise conventional romantic nationalism. The transition to Greece, stanzas 64 to 65, introduces the theme of classical antiquity's enduring influence. Though Harold's inability to forget Spain's plight demonstrates his deepening engagement with contemporary struggles. The bullfight episode, stanzas 71 to 79, serves as the canto's dramatic centerpiece, with Byron's vivid descriptions transforming the spectacle into a metaphor for both Spanish character and the human condition. Harold's observation that Spanish men are bred to bleeding, stanza 80, reveals his growing analytical perspective, while his refusal to join the revelry, stanza 83, reinforces his self-imposed isolation. The interpolated ode to Inez provides crucial psychological insight, with Harold's warning against awakening to life's harsh truths, reflecting Byron's own philosophical pessimism. The canto's conclusion, stanzas 85 to 93, circles back to its opening themes while propelling the narrative forward. Harold's farewell to Spain combines tribute to its people's bravery with lament for their suffering, demonstrating his developing historical consciousness. The personal elegy for a fallen friend, stanza 91, adds emotional weight, while the final stanza's anticipation of Greek adventures sets the stage for Canto II's classical explorations. Throughout, Byron maintains a delicate balance between Harold's personal journey and the broader historical canvas, establishing the structural and thematic template for the entire poem. Analysis. Byron's inaugural canto establishes both the structural template and thematic concerns that would define Romantic literature. Through its innovative use of the Spenserian stanza, the poem achieves a remarkable synthesis of form and content. The rolling ABABBCBCC rhyme scheme, culminating in its resonant Alexandrine, perfectly mirrors Harold's psychological journey from restless motion to melancholy reflection. The canto's opening movement, stanzas 1 to 13, presents a groundbreaking character study that subverts traditional heroism. Harold's contradictions, his simultaneous world weariness and passionate intensity, his moral lassitude and acute sensitivity, crystallize the essence of the Byronic hero. Byron's autobiographical investment becomes particularly evident in the voyage sequence, where the storm metaphor, stanza 12, reveals his characteristic oscillation between emotional turbulence and ironic detachment. The interpolated farewell song represents a masterstroke of psychological revelation, its lyrical interruption of the narrative flow suggesting the inadequacy of conventional discourse to convey profound emotion. The travelogue sections demonstrate Byron's evolution from picturesque observer to cultural critique. His description of Portugal employs the romantic technique of negative sublime. Lisbon's beauty dissolves into squalor upon closer inspection, stanzas 15 to 19, mirroring Harold's and Byron's disillusionment with European civilization. The political commentary, particularly regarding the Convention of Sintra, stanzas 24 to 26, reveals Byron's emerging radicalism while showcasing his innovative technique of using the protagonist as both participant and ironic commentator. The Spanish episodes mark a crucial development in Harold's character. His response to Peninsular War demonstrates growing social consciousness, particularly in the celebration of female warriors, stanzas 45 to 59, a radical egalitarian gesture for its time. The bullfight sequence, stanzas 71 to 79, functions as a complex set piece where Byron transforms local color into universal metaphor. The spectacle's brutal beauty becomes a meditation on art, violence, and national character, with Harold's detached observation reflecting Byron's own ambiguous position as participant observer in life's dramas. The two Aeneas interlude provides crucial psychological exposition, revealing the philosophical underpinnings of Harold's melancholy. This proto-existentialist meditation on alienation prefigures modern consciousness, with its warning against awakening to life's harsh truths, anticipating 20th century existential thought. Structurally, the canto demonstrates Byron's mastery of the Spenserian stanza's potential. The form's capaciousness accommodates both sweeping description and intimate reflection, while the concluding Alexandrines provide rhythmic resolution to each stanza's emotional arc. The canto's circular structure, beginning and ending with departure, establishes the poem's central motive of eternal wandering, both physical and spiritual. Byron's revolutionary achievement in this canto lies in his fusion of autobiographical immediacy and mythic resonance. Harold transcends mere character to become a cultural archetype, his personal alienation reflecting post-Napoleonic Europe's spiritual malaise. The canto's enduring power derives from its perfect balance of concrete historical engagement, the Peninsular War commentary, and timeless psychological insight, all conveyed through a verse form that marries neoclassical discipline with romantic spontaneity. So this is it for today. We will continue to discuss history of English literature. Please stay connected with the discourse. Thanks and regards.